Hello and welcome to the broadcast inside UCP Headquarters. I am your host, Bruce McAllister, as we cover provincial election 2023. It is Tuesday, May the 2nd, and thank you for being with us. If you're with us live, it's 9 p.m., and we're going to record this or air this to you every night at 9 o'clock live, and then we're going to leave it up on Danielle Smith's Facebook page and some other sites so that if 9 o'clock is not convenient for you, you can watch it at another time. We aim to cover all of the election issues, the policies, the platform announcements. We'll tell you what the media is talking about, and we will have special guests with us every night as well so that we can get into the hearts and minds of those that are out on the campaign trail. With that in mind, we have UCP leader Danielle Smith with us tonight, and we'll also have Rebecca Schultz, former Minister of Municipal Affairs until the writ drop, and the MLA in Calgary Shaw, now the candidate in Calgary Shaw. Both Danielle and Rebecca will be joining us momentarily. And we will check into the war room with political strategist Erica Baroudis to find out what the NDP is up to today. We'll talk a little bit about that announcement. I think you may be a bit surprised at what the NDP did today and some of the reaction to it, frankly. So that's all coming up in the next few minutes. First, what happened out there on the hustings today, huge announcement from the UCP. You know, that fuel tax rebate program that you've been enjoying at the pumps, courtesy of the UCP government, no provincial tax on your fuel tax, 13 cents. Well, that has been extended today. It was announced by Calgary Klein candidate Jeremy Nixon and Pamela Rath from Calgary Mountain View. Let's give a listen to what they have to say today.
In Calgary Klein, I'm hearing that many people in our community are struggling with affordability. So tax savings is going to be a huge part of that. And that's not where we're ending. We also have gotten rid of the 13 cents a litre tax on our gas. So we're going to be extending that for another 6 months just to make sure that we can help Albertans get through this very difficult time of inflation. 13 cents a litre saving on your gas is about $5.20 per 40 litre fill up. And that's about $10 savings every time you fill up your minivan or your pickup truck. The savings on the gas is not just going to be savings for you at the pump, but it also is savings for you as we take a look at everything else in our community, whether it be groceries or baby formula or other services that you rely on. Lowering the gas tax helps lower the price of those things, leaving more money in your pocket at the end of the month. More money for you to be able to pay your bills and plan for your future. So just lots of great news, and so excited to be with you here today, Pam, to talk about it.
Thank you. Thanks, Jeremy.
All right, great news for Alberta families. The fuel tax rebate program extended, again announced by Pamela Rath and Jeremy Nixon today. Just fantastic news. We have a couple of special guests with us this evening. We'll go to the interview segment now on the broadcast, and we have UCP leader Danielle Smith with us, and we also have Calgary Shaw MLA, Calgary Shaw candidate, now that the writ has dropped, Rebecca Schultz. Danielle, Rebecca, great to see you both.
Hi, Bruce. Hi, Rebecca.
Hi there.
Why don't we start with you, Danielle, and maybe piggyback off the announcement that we made today. More tax breaks for Albertans. Must be getting great feedback on these announcements.
Well, I have to tell you, I mean, the fuel tax reprieve that we have given has been so important in Alberta. Just talking to any family who is struggling with the cost of living. I was talking with one of my candidates today, RJ Sigurdsson, and he's got some growing boys in his household. And he just said that the cost of groceries has gone up, especially he notices it with fresh produce, because of course, all of that has to be trucked in. And when it gets trucked in, it goes into the price of everything he pays at the grocery store. And so when you look at how much we're paying in Alberta in overall cost for fuel, it's in between $1.35 to $1.45 per liter. It's almost $1.80 in British Columbia. You can just imagine how much more expensive everything is. And so we knew that we had to counteract the effect of the federal Liberal NDP carbon tax. It went up again, despite us asking for them to give our taxpayers a break. They chose not to. Went up again April 1st. So now we have a 14 cent a liter carbon tax. We've at least been able to take 13 cents a liter off in fuel tax to neutralize the effect of that. But it is going to make such a big difference in making sure that the cost of everything families need to purchase stay at least lower than they otherwise would be. And that's why we've decided to extend that to the end of the year if we get reelected.
Yeah, well done. We hear it from people all over the community, all over the province. What a big difference it does make. Let's bring in Rebecca now. Rebecca, I said one of the things that I wanted to do when we started this broadcast was make sure that we get into the hearts and minds of those of you out on the campaign trail. I know you've been working just about as hard as anybody. You've been door knocking in several ridings. Give us a glimpse. What are some of the things you're hearing, and how would you say it's going out there?
Well, first of all, I'll say people are in a great mood with the weather that we are seeing right now in Calgary and in Alberta. And so it's got a lot of people out on their lawns and ready to talk election and to talk politics. And I think, some of the main issues we hear a lot about the economy, that things are finally starting to turn around. I mean, we've been talking about diversification of our economy for years, and people are finally starting to see that hope, that optimism. It's great when our energy industry does well. I have a lot of folks in my riding who work in energy, but are also happy to see that other areas are expanding. Yesterday, I met someone, this will be her first time voting, and she went to school for aviation. She's going to be an aviation technologist, and she wants to stay here. And I think that that's where we're seeing, aviation, technology, hydrogen, agriculture, so much great news when it comes to the economy, but then also affordability, which makes the announcements that we've been making all the more important. And of course, a lot of people do say, we can't afford to go back to the NDP. So keep it up out there, which is exactly what our candidates are doing.
Fabulous. You say aviation, and I can't help but think of de Havilland and obviously the huge announcement in Wheatland County not long ago that's going to spur on a lot of investment. Danielle, contrasting styles, aren't there? I mean, we've always known the UCP and NDP are different philosophically, but we're really seeing it in this campaign.
One of the things that I'm just so proud of the past 4 years of the UCP is that everyone has talked about how we need to diversify the economy. It's been the constant mantra ever since I started paying attention to politics. And we've actually done it. We're doing it. And the de Havilland investment is just one example. They also want to repatriate all of their supply chain here, which will create new manufacturing jobs. We've got technology companies that are moving here. We still have traditional investment in oil and gas, but increasingly they're also investing in carbon capture utilization and storage and hydrogen. We're seeing geothermal, lithium. Everywhere I go, there's just excitement about all the new industries that are developing. And that didn't happen before. And the reason it didn't happen under the NDP is because even though we were entering into a recession, they just made it worse. They didn't campaign on increasing taxes, but it was the first thing they did. They walloped consumers with a retail-based carbon tax, one that we weren't able to get rid of. And then they also walloped the business community with an increase in corporate taxes. They just devastated investor confidence. And with their disastrous policies, the results were obvious. Jobs left, people left, investment left, and they weren't able to diversify. We turned all of that around, and we just can't go back. We've got to go forward, and we've got to go forward with the kind of stability that we've been able to provide by being able to guarantee our business community and the people that they employ that we are going to remain the lowest tax jurisdiction in the country.
Well, record numbers of Albertans employed and coming to Alberta, as you well know. One of the things that we hear a lot about as well, I think, is making sure the economy keeps going. There is a risk, obviously, in going to the other party. But Rebecca, back to you, and maybe for a little bit more what you're hearing at the doors. How much are people focusing on the economy, and what do you think it means to everybody out there?
Yeah, and I think quite a lot. I think that people recognize, look, the last couple of years were challenging, and people know that, they understand that. But, what we're seeing now is an increase of jobs. We're seeing average weekly earnings increasing, which matters when affordability is a major issue for individuals and families. And so people are happy to see where the economy is going. And a lot of people, I just had a volunteer in here today. He's been out delivering signs all day and came in and said, this is a place of opportunity. And we are finally starting to see that again. Really, it's the promise of if you're willing to work hard, you can chart your own path. And I think that is a pretty cool thing. And Albertans are starting to see that hope, that optimism again. And they want, as our leader, Danielle, just said, they want that stability. They don't want to go back to a government that is going to make disastrous decisions. Small businesses especially often point out that they could not survive another round of NDP policy. And so that is absolutely top of mind for Albertans. They want to see us continue moving in the right direction, where there is hope, optimism, a government that is friendly to businesses, to small businesses, and focused on keeping affordability top of mind as well.
Fabulous. Listen, I want to go back to you, Danielle, for the last word tonight. And I want to talk about rural Alberta a little bit. For those not familiar, Bill 6 has reared its ugly head again because the NDP have said they will bring it back. This would be devastating for ranchers and farmers in Alberta. Nate Horner, excuse me as I lose an earpiece, Nate Horner has come out swinging against it, frankly. Maybe comment on it and the firm stance that the UCP will take in making sure that the NDP don't get their wish.
Well, I guess maybe this is an improvement. At least they're telling people in advance what they're going to wallop them with. They're going to wallop them with an emissions cap. They're going to wallop them with the increase in carbon taxes. They're not going to fight against that. They're going to wallop them with a corporate income tax increase. We've heard that. And now they've said that they're going to return to the kind of legislation that they had before that was so devastating to rural families. So keep in mind, if you want to remember what Bill 6 was about, it was essentially trying to treat the family farm as if it was a factory floor. So not allowing kids to be able to work the family farm, not allowing neighbors to help each other with the branding or the harvest, having mandates for porta potties out in the field, like just ludicrous things. Clearly somebody who's never been to a branding or never been on a farm to understand that a lot of young people are just as involved in the family business and doing chores and helping neighbors. It's a culture. And to try to regulate a family homestead as if it's a factory floor was ludicrous. They ended up, it was one of the first things that we did when we got elected, was say we are certainly not going to go in that direction. But the fact that they're already talking about bringing that legislation back. Talk about tone deaf. They didn't learn a darn thing from the 4 years that they have been in opposition. And that's another part of the reason why we've got to just make sure that our farm families know we are going to protect them. We are going to make sure that we're addressing issues at the cost of fuel. We're going to be fighting to protect their rights to be able to manage their farms in their own way. We also know the federal government's floated the idea of an emissions cap on fertilizer. And we've stood foursquare with our friends in rural Alberta, saying we certainly cannot do that. We're in the middle not only of a global energy crisis, but we're in the middle of a global food crisis as well. And this is the time that we should be supporting our food producers and our energy producers so that we can make sure that we provide all of these necessary products for the world. And they will only get that under a UCP government.
Danielle, Rebecca, I know you are both going flat out. Appreciate you taking some time tonight to join us here on the broadcast as we go live from UCP headquarters. We will have you back on. It's day 2 of 29 days. So good luck out there on the hustings. We'll check in with you both soon. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thanks.
All right, UCP leader Danielle Smith and Calgary Shaw candidate Rebecca Schultz joining us tonight. Nice to have some insight and get into the hearts and minds of those that are out there at the doors and out there connecting with Albertans. I'm sure we'll have Danielle and Rebecca on throughout the month. Again, it's day 2 of a 29-day election campaign, so really good to have them in with us tonight. All right, well, we promised to keep you up to speed on what the NDP is up to throughout the campaign and let you know what their announcements are, dive into them a little bit, provide some context where it is needed. Today's announcement was a bit of a head scratcher, to say the least. And for context on that, we're going to go to UCP headquarters into the war room. We're going to check in with Erica Barutis. Erica is a longtime conservative strategist and has been around a long time doing media hits and the like and involved in politics. Erica, the announcement today was a previous announcement, was it not?
Yeah, I mean, I would call today a nothing new, not late news day. So, she came out, she was actually even called out by the media for on day 2 of an election, re-announcing something.
What exactly did she say? I mean, I'm sure a lot of people have heard it in the media already, but what did she say? And again, tell us more about it being said before, frankly.
Yeah, so she came out with her healthcare team's announcement, something that she's been talking about for some time. So I don't really know if it's election worthy at this point. But I mean, I'll say, if this is the Rachel Notley in the last 2 days, in the last 2 weeks, frankly, that's going to show up to the election, I think as conservatives, we can smile a little bit. But the announcement on its own is, 400 family health clinics across the province with 4,000 healthcare professionals or primary healthcare professionals. So again, nothing new that she hasn't been talking about. I think the thing that we're going to be looking at from the fact checking side of the campaign is actually like the total dollar value in what that's actually going to cost Alberta, because I'm pretty sure her math isn't right on this one.
Well, it was going to be my next question, Erica. Has it been costed? Because it would seem to me like we've blown through the surplus already with the announcement. Look, appreciate a little bit of context on this. Are you surprised at all at the media's response? Because the media has frankly been pretty critical, calling it for what it is today.
Yeah, I mean, when CBC comes out supporting the Conservatives and holding the NDP accountable, and it's a good day for us. But yeah, no, it was a little surprising is her tactic of re-announcing things on the second day of the campaign. Also surprising, definitely. But if this is their strategy, I think we can welcome it.
It'll be interesting to watch going forward. Listen, always appreciate your time. I'm sure we'll check in with you again throughout the campaign. Thanks, Erica.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Erica Baroudis from the UCP headquarters tonight. Okay, a couple of things that we want to cover tonight. We mentioned to you last night that we want to incentivize those out there hitting the doors. Has your door been knocked on yet? I bet it has by a candidate from one of the parties. Well, we're going to take time. We've broken the province down into 5 different areas, and we're going to take the time to recognize the top 3 door knocking teams from those areas, beginning in Calgary, where we can say Calgary, Acadia, Calgary, Klein, and Calgary, Falconridge are the top 3 door knocking areas, the most doors hit. Congratulations to all of you for your hard work. In Edmonton, Edmonton City Centre, Edmonton West Henday, and Edmonton Decorah. You top the list for the Edmonton region. For the north, it's Morinville, St. Albert, it is Grand Prairie, and it is West Yellowhead. Out beavering away, hitting all the doors. Great work, teams. In central Alberta, which is obviously Red Deer, and then north in the areas surrounding Edmonton, we have Sherwood Park, Spruce Grove, Stony Plain, and Strathcona, Sherwood Park. And last but not least, the southern region of the province, Lethbridge West, Lethbridge East, and Airdrie East. So all of those ridings did a fantastic job. And a special shout out tonight to number 1 on the list, and it's Calgary Acadia. What a team you have there in Calgary Acadia. Great job at the doors. Probably no surprise that the Premier was in Calgary Acadia yesterday, meeting with volunteers, meeting with door knockers, and helping inspire them and send them off. And didn't they hit the most doors in the province? So again, we're going to try and keep you updated on who's doing what. And I would say to you at home that you can expect people coming around from all different parties over the next 29 days or so. So open the door, be kind, hear what's on their mind, and do ask questions of all the candidates. Get clarity on what's being discussed as we go through provincial election 2023 and the campaign. Okay, I want to tee something up for tomorrow. We have a huge announcement coming tomorrow, and that's going to be made in Calgary. I can tell you that there will be a couple of former ministers taking part in that, including Brian Jean. And let's just say there are shocking revelations coming tomorrow on some of the things. Well, maybe I'll leave it right there. Some shocking revelations coming tomorrow. So you'll be wanting to watch this broadcast tomorrow night, and obviously paying attention to the media throughout the day as we make that announcement tomorrow. One more thing I would say, we appreciate your feedback here at the broadcast. So what you have to do is send us an email if you'd like us to respond. They come to me directly. The email address we'll put up on the screen for you is recap@unitedconservative.ca. Again, that's recap@unitedconservative.ca. Send us your thoughts, ideas, issues, concerns, anything we need to be aware of. Again, our aim throughout this provincial election campaign is to bring you the news of the day, what's happening on the campaign trail, fact check, frankly, when we need to, some of the things that you may hear, and get some analysis on the big issues. But lots of momentum inside the UCP tent for sure. Hearing great things at the doors, and we will continue to keep you posted. And we look forward to seeing you tomorrow from UCP headquarters as we continue moving Alberta forward.